Hello and welcome to the Consolidation Report for the period October 2013 to November 2013. This video is going to include data from the 1st of October 2013 to today, 30th of November 2013. So the first thing that I want to talk about is going to be the diamond block, of course, as usual. And the thing to notice here is that both Mistcraft and Extra Utilities have been performing very strongly. Extra Utilities is quite a new video, a few months old, and that's well on its way to going over 500, and possibly, I would imagine, over 1,000 as well. Mistcraft has recently broken the 2,000 mark, and each of them is average time viewed over 6 minutes on each, which is pretty strong. Mistcraft, I believe, is also, I think just for the word Mistcraft is either at the top of page 3 or the bottom of page 2. It's been hovering around there for a while. A lot of the searches that come in and the new users that come in are coming from Mistcraft, and that's been it's been very successful, that video. Similarly with Extra Utilities. Well, actually, it's not quite the same with Extra Utilities. Extra Utilities was a video that it was interesting because what happened is the idea is I used this item, which was very so used kind of in conjunction with another mod, Infernal Mods, which I just Infernal Mobs rather, which I had just which I had enabled in the configuration settings of that particular mod pack, and what I noticed there, and it seemed to have a good effect, and in a way it actually reminded me more of some of the Thorncraft stuff, where I put things that were kind of, in a sense, magical, but I kind of overloaded on the amount of stuff that was going on. I mean, that Extra Utilities video, there was a huge amount of entities on the screen at one time, and I think even though Extra Utilities is a new mod, and was probably going to do slightly better anyway, I think what I've done there with putting Infernal Mobs in there as well, albeit kind of accidentally, it's done very well. So Extra Utilities is doing very well at the moment. I think it's going to be a good performer for now. So definitely very happy about both of those videos, doing well and continuing to do well. The gold block is also quite interesting. I chose flat signs for this one. The thing about flat signs is that, similar in fact to Omni tools in the past, it's one of those videos that is not necessarily hugely growing like perhaps Mistcraft and Extra Utilities, but it's one of those things where, if you look at the top 100 mods on Curse or something, it's like flat signs is there because it's one of those things that people can add to their mod pack and can do all that stuff with, and it will continue. But people always want it because it doesn't interfere. It's not going to cause ID conflicts and stuff like this. So it's kind of it's obviously a desirable mod to download, and it's a desirable thing for people to watch, and it's looking like it's going to be the best ever month. It's going to be very close, but even if it isn't, it's always been. It's like literally it's just a straight line. And across, there's no dip. It's not like possibly the graph will go huge bump at the beginning and then just gradually slow down to nothing, and it's just a straight line, and a decent amount, So they're good, and I think that's something I'm going to have to look out for in the future as well. Look at these small alterations to the game, and it's similar to people want to see this stuff. And yeah, but so that's done very well, and to have those consistent performances is obviously going to be very useful for the channel. Now, the next one is the iron block, and I chose Nucleum Omnium. It was actually, again, I chose it last time as well. Nucleum Omnium has done very well. It's going close to 1,500 views, and the thing I like about this particular one is that almost all of them come from an external site, which is good because it means that it's not reliant on YouTube searches to get another avenue of people viewing my videos that perhaps perhaps are not in search for that. So to get those external views, it was just, and that was just one of those videos where, I'm happy it happened on that video because that's like similar to, yeah, I mean, you don't get that many chances with these kind of backbone ones, and Nuclear Omnium is certainly a backbone with support for many other mods. So to get that to get that sort of backbone on that is very good. And perhaps in the future I'll be able to think of ways to cross over. It depends. I mean, it's doing well. It may be. I think it's not going to be one that does consistently well, but it's doing pretty good to get to 1,500 views. For, I mean, admittedly the title is kind of obscure. But I think the funny thing is I don't think many people would actually search for that unless it was part of the wiki. So that's an interesting thing which has happened there. And finally, got the stone block. It's good to see the subscriber number still rising. Got 6 more subscribers since the beginning of the period, a total of 58. So yeah, I mean, 58 is it's an amount of subscribers where you know that people are going to pay attention. And yeah, I mean, it's just it's over 50, less than 100. Let's just just get to the aim here. I guess will just be to get to 100 next. But I don't necessarily want to do it like that. I mean, interestingly, actually, with that one, is that I've had like about 130,000 views on my channel, but well, about a year ago actually, and this is actually going to be the kind of end of year consolidation report in a way, because I did start in December 2012 to make on this on this path. So interestingly, once I got rid of all the other videos which would have been 72,000 views, which on the other videos that I'm not really interested in promoting. I basically started over again from basically nothing. I've got 58,000 views now, which is very interesting because it means that for every 1,000, this is something which has remained pretty consistent actually. There's been some minor aberrations above and below, but in general, the amount of views has been a factor of 1,000 bigger than the amount of subscribers. So I mean, so by that you could say, well, when I get to 100,000 views, I'll have 100 subscribers, and when I get to 1 million views, I have 1,000 subscribers. And I think that is actually a very kind of healthy path. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be very hard to say how you're going to exactly judge those things. But I guess I have to try to do that. Anyway, this is a tripartite report rather. This is the first section, and the second section is going to be the review of every single day in the last 2 months. So let's move on to that. Okay, so welcome back. Got the consolidation report here. October 2013, November 2013. All right, so wow, well, as you can see, got a lot here. Last year we've done stuff. Start off with Magic World there, and we've gone through a lot of stuff. Equivalent exchange, factorization, Buildcraft, Stormcraft, mystical peripherals, City Plates, Stormcraft, Red Power, Buildcraft, factorization, Industrial Craft, Soul Shards, Railcraft, Computercraft, Portal Gun, Iron Chest, Combat Sailors, MFFS, Ender Storage, maps, extra biomes, a lot of stuff. Omni Tools, Greg Tech, Extra Bees, Twilight Forest, Tube Stuff, Divine RPG, Wireless Redstone, Nuclear Control. So many things that I've gone through. Nanotech, Primitive Mobs, Applied Logistics, Diamond Buckets, Folding Meeting Mod, Millionaire, Tinker's Construct, Mine Factory Reloaded, Extra Trees, Extra Bees, Mistcraft, Darkcraft, Formic Tinkerer, Forge Multipart, Nuclear Omnium, Ropes Plus, Darkcraft, Dimensional Doors, Camera Craft, Armor Status HUD, Direction HUD, Natura, Creeper Collateral, Infernal Mobs. We've gone through a lot of stuff anyway. There's no point going over it, but I guess it is kind of the end of the year, so I may as well a bit. So we get to here, which is standard review. Okay, so let's begin. So we began on the 1st of October. We did Flash Parkour Map Part 3. So this was going to be the end of the parkour section. I've been doing parkour for a while, and I thought it was time to wrap to close. I did Flash Parkour, which is a very nice parkour map with speed boosts, and was more kind of about... and was this about parkour and more... about moving at speed and trying to, there's lots of long sort of corridors, and then you have to do a diagonal jump at speed to try to get along. It's difficult though. It is difficult. One of the interesting things though about speed boost is that when you've got a speed boost, the whole issue of sprinting doesn't become as relevant. But then the control is more difficult as well. Whereas control when you're sprinting is not really that difficult because it's a manageable speed. Speed boost though, it requires a different level of ability. I think whether it's harder or easier, I'm not sure really. It may actually be easier. I think. So parkour in tube, which is a very nice parkour, going around the side of a large tube and going to the top, collecting some hidden blocks, some hidden items as well, which was a cool touch for that one. And I went on to why you make good map. I'm going to have to go through some of the descriptions here, because I wrote some fairly strong descriptions here. Let's have a look. So this was the thing I did 125, where I did. I basically I started by opening. Why make good map makes a blank and empty map. And what I did was I basically removed it and then removed it after I'd already used it to get a load of empty space, and then got this area around it. And then I proceeded to work on that for about a week or two. And that was basically what happened with these Buildcraft episodes, part 10 of Buildcraft, part 15, 16 of Industrial Craft, and part 11 to 14 of Buildcraft. You can see that I just went back and did some of the fun stuff that I've been doing before, really, with geothermal generators. I really got a good grip on the architect table and the builder. It's very important items. Buildcraft is the most popular mod, I think, which is cool. And they were long videos, but I think they were good videos. I mean, in a sense, Buildcraft is still getting better all the time. That's the interesting thing. The pipes are still looking better and better, really. To be honest, they didn't change a lot for a while, but they are still getting better. So it seems likely that Buildcraft is still going to be, the main piping system in all of Minecraft mods, really. Maybe other things that happen, but. There are obviously other mods. Interestingly, I can do logistics pipes in 1.25 as well. I can do an early version of that. Not the newer versions, of course, but that was quite good because logistics pipe is quite a successful video for me. I started an interesting one with Divine RPG. So, next thing to notice here. Let's have a look. Definition of building. So, I basically did this thing where I'm going to build... Well, I spent a long time basically building sort of crossroads in the empty space between all the land that started to generate after I removed why make good map. Then I went to and I did some quite cool things. Automatically provide lava cells, stuff like that. And that's obviously the benefit with equivalent exchange and condensers. You can do all that stuff, which is obviously stuff that you can't, that which got removed, and which I don't know what's happening with the E3 really. Not much from the looks of it, though. And then after that, so I did that for about a week or two. I went to my electronics and chemistry, and this time This time I actually covered things quite nicely. I've got this recap system in place every 4 episodes, which is cool. So it lets me to and in theory that'll let me really recap larger portions of it, of the material, and not so large that I have to cover an absolute huge amount each time, which is good because I don't really want to do that. And yeah, talk about ionized atoms, plus and chlorine, and I recover what I went through in the early electronics episode, in the early chemistry episodes rather. No, it was electronics. That's the thing. The annoying thing was the electronics and chemistry started off fairly similar. They, of course, they become very divergent quite early on, but they did start off very similar. Yeah. And yeah, but I was explaining, the static electricity thing. It's thought to be a fluid, and it would be 2 fluids and 1 fluid, and then it was an excess or a deficiency of electrons. All that good stuff. And yeah, I did some calculations for protons, electrons, and neutrons. Obviously, talking about ions and stuff like that, and now that affects numbers and all that stuff. And for the last one, I didn't do it. One day I will have to go through all these all the educational ones that I do between the 13th and the 17th. And yeah, I think it's going to be a good series, these, because it's going to be, not only is the material going to get more advanced, but the actual my delivery is going to get more advanced. I've even noticed actually that I've actually started to use the graphics tablet a bit better, and my handwriting is looking better, and pleasing stuff. Now, next up, we have QCraft. I didn't mention this in the opening bit here, but QCraft has done pretty well. It's got about 120 views. I actually recorded the QCraft video about 5 or 6 times, and in the end, I really got what I was looking for, which was the ideal kind of. The ideal for me really is to have a very sort of lethargic, uninterested presentation, but basically giving all the facts and all the information. I think the more the quicker, and obviously going fast as well, and that's really the best you could do. I think with any kind of informational video, the more lethargic and uninterested you sound, whilst giving all the best information is that's like the best you can get really. And to be honest, I couldn't have done much better than that, because I recorded it so many times, and when I did it, it just felt very, very good. And it was just one of those mods really that it's like it was a funny one, because it's like quantum physics is much harder than this, so it was a bit strange, like how it was kind of supposed to be quantum physics, but yeah, I just did it anyway, and yeah, so that was like that was what I did there. But still, it's cool. It probably worked well with dimensional doors actually, seeing as the whole the pre-made, prefab stuff. Okay, so yeah, what else? Bill Craft. Oh yeah, did Quarry, because unfortunately, unfortunately when I went around. Yeah, I possibly could have emptied things out a bit better, and I almost thought about taking it to MC Edit, but I didn't. But yeah, there was a big chunk right in the middle of the void, which is not really what I wanted. And to be honest, it took me a very, very long time to do. And then the rest of it was that it was this project to. Yeah, because basically I did the quarry slightly wrong, and I didn't actually clear out the walls. So I decided to turn it into a nuclear reactor bunker, and I spent a few days doing that. And then after that, I thought, well, I kind of been building that for ages. So I didn't really want to keep building it. And I also realised that because I was planning on doing all the nuclear stuff in 125, But they completely. But then I realised, and I actually changed the video of one of my industrial craft videos. I realised that one of the original industrial craft video that I'd been doing about nuclear control, that wasn't. It was actually called nuclear control, but it wasn't nuclear control, because nuclear control is about all this stuff. And I looked into it. And I tried to get this the thermometer thing, but in the end, I decided, you know what? It's going to be a lot easier and a lot better if I actually use proper nuclear control, because if you've got all the tools there, I mean, maybe I should have tried to get that working, but I mean, I don't know. I think when you add, the thing is, I never really added any mods to Feed the Beast. I don't really want to start now. I think it's kind of a waste of time, because I kind of think that, like, most of these things come along anyway. Yeah, so why add them before they're ready? Really, you just be in a case where you're dealing with things like ID conflicts, and yeah, I mean, there's enough stuff to be getting on with and to get good at. That adding extra stuff outside of what FTB delivers is actually a complete waste of time. Okay, so yeah. Anyway, so that was so that kind of thing sort of made me think, you know what, maybe I should go on a slightly different path here, and it made me think, you know what, maybe I'll do nuclear control from this, and then I'll mix it up a bit more. And then I decided to go back to red power, something I haven't been done for a while. I looked at the ejector, transposer. I looked through all the some of the most basic items in red power. That was quite an enjoyable couple of videos, actually. I got quite a lot out of those videos. Okay, and then I decided, you know what? I'd obviously seen because obviously it was Minecon around this period. Actually, it was the beginning of the month, Minecon. Yeah. So obviously with Minecon, you was kind of look forward to it a bit. Anyway, I decided to move on to doing 1.7, because obviously I'd heard about a third of the game was completely new code and stuff like this. So I thought, yeah, and I actually decided to change these tags afterwards. The thing about the achievement hunter thing, so I did achievement hunter, and obviously there's not that many achievements, and a lot of them take a while. The first 10 or so episodes of achievement hunter went very well, and then recently it's kind of gone a bit pear shaped, but at the same time, it's probably because I'm not playing sensibly enough. But then at the same time, it's like it was a decision whether to go into what. Anyway, it began very, very well. I got this very good skeleton kill in the very first episode, which is probably what boosted my interest in it. And I continued on to do fairly good things later on. I will probably try and use like the tags a bit more. Because while I'm doing a series like this, it's not. I mean, obviously, when you're doing like a new mod or something, you just put the name of the mod and you put all the mod items in there. It's easy. But with just a vanilla sort of achievement hunter series, you're gonna have to use better tags and tags which are relevant to the time and stuff like that. So I've put some better tags. I put in some of the latest snapshot tags in there. And yeah, and then I did basic command block. So yeah. What's the best way to look at this? I mean, yeah, I did a basic command block because I kind of was like starting to get aware of the fact that I think it happened not after that. I did the basic command block because I always said sort of getting prepared for this, what happens at the end of the month, and I did the triple RS and all that, which went fine. And then I tried to do another one, but it didn't really work out properly. And I kind of realised, like, you know what, I'm not quite at that level where I really fully understand this. I mean, I can do these things. I do understand what's going on, but the issue with the strong and the weak power thing makes me want to just get more into working with these blocks. Because you don't see some of the newer blocks that often because it's not. So I just want to start working with these blocks more, and then because I've done all the basic gates, I'll be in a good position to go back into this. So I sort of said to myself, you know what, I'm going to keep these days, 27, 28, to always be redstone. And then this is what I decided, basically between 27 and 28, I'm going to do this Redstone Basics series. So it'll still be Redstone Basics, still be Redstone. It will just be part of the Minecraft features series, and also it's going to be like what's the best way to put this? It's going to be actually kind of part of the whole Redstone. Yeah, it's still going to be part of the Redstone series, and it's going to be part of the Minecraft feature series. And the advantage of that is that I'll actually be able to, if I wanted to, just put any Redstone episode at any time, because it's part of the Minecraft feature series. So that makes it a more flexible solution for my requirements. Okay, so then I moved on to, I did more Achievement Hunters. Continued going well. I moved around a lot, and yeah, so things went pretty well. And I got some obviously I went through the basic stuff. I went through the iron, looked through armor, and then got to full armor. Obviously, the thing about the achievement hunt series, I said, when I allow set world spawn, I'm also going to allow an infinite amount of TNT. Unfortunately, I didn't really. Yeah, I mean, one of the things I'm going to do going forward, I think, is that first of all, I've hardly ever put any chests down. I haven't been particularly focused or set myself very kind of fixed limits, and fixed limits are the most important thing to do in a series. So I'm gonna think about, if I set world spawn at this point, how many chests should I use? One chest each video. Just because recently I've been dying a lot. I got stuck in a mesa with no animals, nothing, an amplifier mesa, and it's not like. Yeah, I mean, in the last episode, I just dug myself out, and I ended up dying anyway at the last episode. But anyway, I'm not at that point yet. But anyway, but this is obviously a series which I really want to get. I really want a good vanilla series, so I'm willing to keep on pushing this. But at the same time, I mean, I don't know. I think the name is good. And I think 1.7. We'll see. I mean, weirdly, I have a feeling though that the subscribers do better when I've got a vanilla series, and I think a vanilla series is something which I'll be able to promote on the channel, and people can come from the like Mistcraft stuff like this, and then they'll be able to enjoy it more. So yeah. So anyway, we did 28, then we did and then I'm keeping talking about Achievement Hunter, because it's hard to talk about individual episodes really. Of Achievement Hunter, because obviously I didn't really put much in the description. I always have 2-word or 1-word description. I didn't really want to I mean, maybe I will overload the description at some point. All right, so I went through, and then I decided after what happened on 27-28, where I decided to move this focus from going through all the gates to doing redstone basics. I thought, why don't I just do basic commands as well? So then I've also got that option as well, that facility, and I started with the TP. So I'm going to move on to some of the cooler things you can do with command blocks very soon. And this is another important thing, is that when I started this, and obviously it was the same time I was starting Achievement Hunter, what it meant is that I realised that because of the new achievement system in Minecraft, what I'll be able to do is come up with much more complicated and interesting ways of getting achievements in the Achievement Hunter series. So it won't just be try and find these 5 or 6 given achievements that are already in the game, which is good, because it means I can just do any custom achievement, and there's millions of both basic and compound achievements, which will be a lot of fun to do. Right, so yeah, so we're on the 1st of November here. Okay, so then I moved on to Creeper Dungeon, and in Creeper Dungeon, what exactly happened was, this is like I say, it was the end of the parkour, so I moved now on to going back to adventure maps, and why not start with Creeper Dungeon, Herobrine's Return, which are very good adventure maps. So I started with them, and yeah, it went pretty well, and they're both very enjoyable maps, and obviously quite popular maps, but I wanted to do them now anyway, because I haven't done them, and I thought it would be a good idea to do them now. After that, of course, I then moved on to back to Achievement Hunter. Got some quite cool episodes actually, especially episodes 8 and 9. I spoke in detail about the biology of creepers, and also about some robotic developments as well. Just things that I'd been reading about previously. And then moved on to Mind Fantasy, which was back to FTB, just for kind of one-off, really. I wanted to start back in an early version of Magic Farm. It's version Magic Farm 1. I believe, actually, Mind Fantasy might even be Magic Farm 2, though. So, yeah. and that was going to be more of a survival kind of series. It was a fun episode to do. It seemed to get a moderate but okay amount of feedback, really. And then after that, I moved on to back to Achievement Hunter, carrying on with the same sort of stuff that I've been speaking about. And then it was back to maths and biology. Some very good episodes there, especially in biology, where actually I actually started drawing some better pictures. I decided to not actually draw them by hand. Going to start trying to do them a little bit better now. And then down to the 18th. Let's go to the bottom here. And then this is there. So I did more Achievement Hunter, and like I say, the last few episodes, I've been stuck in this mess for a while, but did tunnel out at the end of 20. So I am actually, even though I died at the end of 20, I'm at least in a better place now. And maybe incorporate some of those elements with the command blocks and the achievements to give the series a slightly different tilt, and maybe start putting the descriptions that I've put here have not been just been one word really: disaster, unlikely traversal, running boat, lava, and messer. And I did this thing with I've been doing a little how to make a nether portal in the end on the 19th. I actually it was a kind of custom preset there. But so I just did more achievement and just moved on to that. But okay. So the final thing that I wanted to do here was just talk about what I did in Mind Fantasy, and that was to create a bloom, basically. So if we just we're okay actually. We're going to cheat mode for a minute. We look at a bloom. Let's go into Create Plus. You can see this was the item that I actually created, and so we look at the recipe here. Oh wow. Oh man. And you can see that you had to create it with a copper block. Interestingly enough, stone tools don't actually do that much here. And if we look at planks, we can see that planks we get 8. We get 8. So this is an interesting thing. So with 2 blocks of wood, you get 4 sticks normally. Yeah, 2 blocks, 8 planks. But so with the planks anyway, this is what I did. Did something with the planks here. With 4 planks, you get 1 block of wood. So I'm going to be going through a lot of this stuff in the actual series there. But that was basically what I did with the stone tools. How did I do this? I can't remember now. I just went like that, didn't I? To get the sticks. We get some stone. Oh, I need to do this, don't I? So let's have a just briefly thing. This was such an early thing that it doesn't make too much difference doing like this. I wasn't in a. What am I doing now? So the point really was that you couldn't just. So if I got like iron here. You can see that the effect here is actually very different. This is one of the main things about Mind Factory. Not Mind Factory, about Mind Fantasy rather. That when you do that, nothing actually happens. So you actually need to go. And what I did was create the bloom. So I collected a load of copper. Probably not that one. It's probably this one. And then with the copper, I was able to I basically create a block, and yeah, and this will be what happens next to do that. So you use the bloom really, and the bloom is simply created with these cobblestone bricks and the and regular furnaces, and then you just put the you create a block with loads of copper in any of the different configurations. And that was really all. I mean, it's probably the coolest thing I've actually done in the last couple of months. So yeah, that's going to be the end of the consolidation report anyway. So until next time, it should be in the new year, I guess. Thanks for watching.